Welcome to Pinecrest. I'm Guido Inguanzo. We're coming to you from the studios at Miami's community newspapers. My guest today was elected to the Pinecrest Village Council in 2018. Welcome the Honorable Katie Abbott. Welcome, council member.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you. So the Village Council was not your first elected office. In fact, you served as student council president your senior year at Miami Palmetto Senior High School. What made you interested in politics at an early age and really throughout your life?
Well, thank you for doing your research. And just to clarify, my first elected position was actually in 7th grade at Palmetto Junior High School. Back then, it wasn't the middle school, it was PJHS. And I ran for the Commissioner of Activities with my friend. And we wanted to do it because we got to plan all of the dances. And with that, you get to choose the theme and the decorations and even the songs you played. So that kind of brought me into politics. And then I realized I really like to serve and to work with people and solve problems. So ever since that position, I ran for something every single year till I graduated Palmetto High School. And when I graduated, I was the student council president. That
is great. You're only one of a few elected officials in Pinecrest's 25-year history that actually grew up in Pinecrest. The late Jeff Cutler and Cindy Lerner come to mind as a few of the others. How has the Pinecrest community changed since you were a kid growing up in Pinecrest?
It's like night and day. And actually, let me preface that. So what it looks like is like night and day. For example, the other day I was thinking about playgrounds. And when I was young, the only playground we went to was Don Eiffel, which isn't even in the Pinecrest proper. And they had the same statue, the woman, who lays there posed, and we would climb up her. And that was a big deal to us because that was literally one of the very few playgrounds that we could go and hang out at. And now, look at all of the playgrounds and parks that we have in Pinecrest and places to go. And I'm so appreciative that I have that for my family. But on the other hand, what hasn't changed in Pinecrest are the people. And the people of Pinecrest are just, I am so happy to have lived my life in other places so that I can appreciate what I missed in Pinecrest, and to have the people who I grew up with. Many of them are still here. My parents are here. It's just, it's a small town, and that's what makes Pinecrest the same as before.
Okay. And you spoke of going to other places. You went off to Duke for college, and then you did your graduate work at Columbia. You lived in New York City for a while, but in 2008, you decided to come back to the Pinecrest area. What brought you back?
So mostly it was my husband's job. We lived in New York for about 10 years. My children were born there. And I worked for Scholastic, which I absolutely loved. It's a children's publishing company. While I was there, they published Harry Potter, which was a huge deal. And I actually stayed on with them for many years, so I could work from anywhere. We moved to Charlotte for a few years. It was nice, but we really, we missed our family. We missed the Spanish culture. My husband's from Spain. We enjoyed that aspect. So we did move back in 2008, and we're so glad that we did.
Great. One of the issues that you've championed on the Village Council is the issue of equality. Why is that issue so important to you, and why is it so important to our community?
I think it's important not just for Pinecrest. I think it's important for every community, everywhere. And I think we need to be role models. I think we need to be role models for our children. I think, we just did a proclamation for Pride Month, which I'm thrilled about, for equality. And it's just something I think we always need to have on the backs of our minds, and just be champions for. And I'm thrilled that not only myself, but my fellow council members, our staff, is in full support of that.
And Pinecrest has always been progressive on a lot of those fronts, tackling a lot of those issues.
Right.
Another issue that that the Village Council has taken a strong position on over the years is guns. And we've seen what's happening in Dade County over the last couple of weeks, which is really incredible. How do you see that issue going forward? Have we made any progress since, say, the incident in Parkland a few years ago? And if not, how do you see us moving forward on that issue?
Sadly, I don't see us making progress. As I understand, there was another shooting, I believe, was it yesterday at
Sunday morning,
at a graduation party, it was so disturbing. I saw this morning on the news that they did arrest someone for that young boy out, I think it's California, who was on his way to kindergarten and got killed. And when you have a young child getting shot in their car on the way to school, that's a problem. And for people not to think that and think that their rights are above other people's rights, I think that's a problem. And I think that's the fundamental issue, is everybody has rights. But where do you draw the line and you realize that the harm it's creating is infringing upon other people's rights?
Okay. You're in your third year on the village council now. What have been some of the most challenging issues you've dealt with as a council member?
Probably water, which obviously is water, but I'm so thrilled we're at the place that we are right now. I think everything that led up to this had to be done. So, for example, the water vote, which I was a big proponent of, in my heart, I thought maybe it would fail, but I also think it opened the door a little bit. And I think because of that, it brought attention to the issue. I think people realized a little bit more what was going on. I still talk to people today in Pinecrest who say, what? People don't have county water? And, when they don't have power, they can't flush their toilet or take a shower. Not to mention people outside of Pinecrest who say, you live in, one of the wealthiest, nicest suburbs in Florida, and some of your residents don't have drinking water or fire protection, which I think is equally as important. So I would say water is definitely the number one issue.
And the village council last month made a big decision to basically move forward and resolve that issue once and for all.
Right.
The village is going to commit its monies from the American Rescue Plan, which is going to pay for most of the completion of the project, and the balance is going to be paid by those properties that are going to derive a benefit. Right. What do you tell the folks that insist that they want to keep their wells?
I get it. A lot of these people are people who have lived here since, before Pinecrest, and they like their well water. It has benefits. You don't have to pay a water bill. Some people might like the taste. I'm not sure. But I get it. And if you choose to not connect, that is your right. You have up to 10 years, and we're trying to extend that to 20 years. And that's a good chunk of change. And, what they're saying that's coming down the pike, both in terms of sea level rise and septic tank failures, are likely going to happen in the next 20 years. So if you don't want to hook up, that's fine, but know that it's there. So if there is a problem, you have that option.
And as the mayor has said, it will probably never be cheaper to get this done. And
absolutely.
And it does resolve what has been a long-standing issue in Pinecrest, really predating the incorporation of the village.
Right.
Along with the mayor and Councilmember Anna Hokemer, you actively participate on the Education Advisory Council.
Yes.
What is that group, and how does it benefit the community?
It's a wonderful group, and I'm really hoping next year when we get back together in person that we can open it to the community. I think a lot of people don't know about it. It's a wonderful group. It's made up of council members. It's made up of principals of our 5 area schools. Pinecrest has 5 public schools. It's made up of district representatives from Miami-Dade County Public Schools, PTA, PTSA presidents, and any parents who are interested. And basically what we talk about is what's going on in the schools, what's going on district-wide, and if you have any concerns, this is the time to voice it. So if you're a parent out there or someone who has any questions about the school district, and just because you don't have a child in the schools doesn't mean it shouldn't be important to you. Because as we all know, a lot of people move to Pinecrest because of our strong schools. So even though you might not have a child in school, it is very important to you to maintain that strength. And, the future of our public schools is at stake. So it's very important that we all stay involved. And we know the issues that are going on, whether it's in the state, at the national level, the threats that are currently affecting our public schools. And we really need to fight for them.
And you're right. There's an incredible amount of information. I've had the the benefit of sitting in since we've been doing them on Zoom this year, and there is a wealth of information. How often does the group meet, and what do you see happening in the fall with this group in terms of addressing some of these issues in the schools?
So we do take the summer off, and we'll start again in August probably, and we meet on the second Tuesday, just like council. I'm not sure why they did that, but they have it the same day as our council meeting in the morning. As you said, this year was virtual, but next year we'll probably meet again at the community center because that's such a beautiful room in there. And again, anybody is welcome to come, and we'll announce it on social media, and please join.
Okay. You're a proud graduate of Palmetto,
Yes.
of, in fact, all of the Pinecrest schools. The high school has gone through a tremendous renovation process over the last few years.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of those improvements and what they mean to the high school?
I am so excited, and we really need to somehow get video footage of what's going on in there because it is so incredible. So as many of you know, they did open the 3-story building last year. Was it last year? This past year is all a blur in my mind.
Yes.
But they did open the 3-story building on 120th Street. So a lot of the classrooms got moved into there. And then they demolished the older, shorter buildings in the back. And right now it's not open yet, but I did maybe get a sneak peek at the new auditorium, which is incredible, state of the art, gorgeous. We're going to have an outdoor theater. So it's an open theater that we're going to welcome the community in. So for example, if the elementary school or the middle school wants to come and have a performance there, they can. There's a grassy area in front of it. So you can bring your picnic blanket, you can lay out, you can watch the show. Our cafeteria is incredible. It looks like, you know, something you would never think it was a public high school if you saw this cafeteria. And we have a new arts wing. So the arts wing is going to have, I know they just ordered ceramic kilns, for example. So they're going to have a full ceramic studio. Our typical art, photography, Palmetto has a very strong arts program, which I think is equally as important as our academic program. And I can't wait for it to get open. The only thing that wasn't included in the GOB is the field. So we're currently in the process of trying to get funding for that. We're applying for a grant. We're reaching out to alumni to maybe help with that. And hopefully we'll have a field that matches our school.
Okay. And in terms of the field, I know there had been some action to try to secure some funds from the legislature. Were any funds earmarked for that purpose?
Unfortunately, 2 sessions ago, there was money, and as I understand it, reached the governor's desk, but then it got vetoed, unfortunately, along with a lot of other things because of COVID. A lot of our projects that did make it, I believe Pinecrest had 4 or 5 items that made it to the governor's desk, and they all got vetoed. And that was on it. But unfortunately, the project is about $2.5 million to 3, which includes turf fields. We have such an incredible football team that went to states this year. So it's not that we're not deserving of it. And it's not just an athletic field. We have all of our, well, not all, but many of our clubs go out there and practice on it. So we're really working on getting funding for that.
Okay. I read this morning that a famous alum of the school is going to launch himself into space next month. Maybe when he comes back, maybe he might want to take a look at a project like that.
That would be great. We've actually sent him the plans, and we're hoping for his support.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about one of your favorite activities as a council member. You serve as the liaison to the YAC, and we have a special guest that's joining us and maybe can help you answer some of these questions about the YAC.
Sure.
Joining us is the chair of the YAC, Ana Martinez. Welcome, Ana.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Welcome, welcome. So what is the YAC?
The YAC is the Youth Advisory Council, and it is a youth organization based in the village of Pinecrest. So it's comprised of anywhere from 16 to about 20 young high school students. This year we've had a bit more just because of circumstances. And we basically aim to have these students who are interested in government learn about government and community service through the YAC. So we do so normally given in a normal year. We'll have many speakers come in. We'll learn about the public works. We'll learn about the Pinecrest Police Department. This year, of course, it's been a little bit more difficult since it's all been online. But so we haven't had that necessary aspect of learning about local government that we do in a normal year. We have had some guest speakers. We've had Alana Perez, our director of Pinecrest Gardens, come in and speak, which was really amazing. We had Luisa Santos come in as well. So that was amazing. But yeah, it's been a difficult year just because it's all been online. We have been able to do some great things, some great community service events. So yeah, that is another aspect of the YAC community service. It's really important as well. So we have a lot of different opportunities within Pinecrest that really just help the people in the YAC become more involved, more connected to Pinecrest.
And council member, I know early on when you were elected, at that time, Councilmember Ball had been the liaison, and I know you jumped in to help her, and then you've taken this on. Why is this so important for you to be involved with this group?
As cliche as it is, our youth are our future. I mean, they are our future. They're the future of Pinecrest. They're the future of our world. One of the things that I think is important that we need to consider as elected officials and staff is to bring these wonderful kids back to Pinecrest once they finish. I know a lot of my peers at Palmetto don't live here anymore. And I actually graduated the first weekend of my college at Duke, Andrew hit. So my parents actually drove me up, dropped me off, went to Home Depot, got wood, got everything they needed, left me there, and I didn't talk to them basically for 3 to 4 months. So I think because of that, a lot of my generation left and didn't come back. But I think it's important that we appeal to our youth and we engage them and get them invested in the community so that they do come back one day.
And Anna, how long have you been on the Youth Advisory Council, and why did you join?
I have been on it for, I think next year will be my 4th year. I joined as a freshman. I joined because I actually heard about it from a friend. My mom wasn't a part of it yet, actually. So I heard about it and I was really interested. I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do in my high school career, what path I wanted to go on, but I knew this was a great way to start, and it definitely was one of the best decisions that I made in my high school career to join this, because it really just sparked my interest in government and in politics. So I have been on it for 3 years. This is my 3rd year, and I served as the chair this year. Okay.
And you talked about this year being a difficult year, obviously on all levels, difficult for everybody on many levels. But despite that, the Youth Advisory Council put together a program that just received an award from the Florida League of Cities. Can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Yeah, so this year we had 8 different groups of students. So normally we'll have 4 subdivisions of groups within our youth council that'll go over a variety of topics, for example, environmental. This year, we just divided them into different, we didn't do it necessarily by a certain topic, but all groups were required to come up with a project. So one of our groups, one of our amazing groups, decided to come up with establishing a national, or not national, a local Pinecrest. I mean, it's National Pinecrest Mental Health Day, which is, I'm really excited about. And it is, I still think it's in the works, but it's probably going to happen. And we're really excited about that. We're also planning on having a youth series on it. And for those that don't know what a youth series is, it's basically these series that we have directed to all youth that are welcome. Anyone's welcome to join. And it goes over a variety of different topics that youth would be interested. For example, we've done college interviews, we've done one on hazing, social media safety, etc. So we're going to have one on mental health, hopefully in the next year, since we weren't able to this year. And yeah, so we won an award for that. We won the Florida League of Cities 2021 Youth Council Community Service Contest, which is a state award. And I think we were one of 3 who won the award. And it's really amazing. We have someone who's coming down from Tallahassee, Mrs. Barnett, and she's going to present the award to us tomorrow evening. So we're really excited about it. It's really an honor that we've been able to accomplish this despite the circumstances of being online for the majority of the year.
Yes, and actually this is the second award that the Youth Advisory Council receives in the last few years from the Florida League of Cities, only one of a few of the youth groups in the state. So congratulations on that. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
You're coming back for one more year on the Yak?
I am coming back.
Okay.
Well, I have to apply again,
applying,
so we will see.
Well, that's a
But,
perfect segue.
yeah.
So tell me about, for those students in Pinecrest who might be interested in joining the Yak, what's the process to apply and become a part of the group?
Sure. So we have an online application that can be found through the Village of Pinecrest website. So it can be found either through there if you search up Youth Advisory Council. It should be the first thing that comes up. And we also have it through our Instagram, which is at Pinecrest Yak. If anyone's interested, you can also give us a follow. But yeah, the application is basically a few pages, and it's for anyone. You have to be a resident of Pinecrest to apply, and you have to be coming into 8th grade up to your junior year of high school. If you are a new member, returning members that are seniors can still apply, of course. And you just have to answer a few questions. You are also required to have a recommendation attached to your application. And you just fill out a few questions about why you're interested, your extracurriculars, information about your parents, and it's not too difficult of an application, but I do recommend that everyone tries to put in their maximum effort if you're interested in joining. And it's due on June 25th at 4:00 p.m. And you can send in the applications either through mail or email them.
Okay. And what's in your future? Politics, maybe?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about politics. I've been, of course, being involved in the Pinecrest Yak has sparked my interest in government and policy. So it's definitely something that I'm considering doing in college. I also really like journalism as well. I've been involved in it throughout my high school career. So definitely a combination or mix of both of those subjects will definitely be something I will be doing in college.
Okay, so maybe a future Pinecrest council member here,
Yeah,
or
we will
even
see.
more. So if you're a student in Pinecrest and you're interested in the Yak, again, the application's available on the village's website, www.pinecrest-fl.gov/yak. And do give them a follow on their Instagram at Pinecrest Yak.
Thank you.
If you're interested in more information about some of these youth series and other events. So council member,
Yes.
you're off in the fall to run, but not for office. Tell us what you're running for in the fall.
So this fall, I will be participating, in 2 races, which will be my 8th and 9th marathon. I'm doing Chicago and then New York, both of which were supposed to be done in 2020, but because of 2020, they didn't happen. So yeah, I'm training for that now, and I'm enjoying the training. It allows me to eat a little bit more because I'm a foodie and I love to eat. And it helps me mentally too. Exercise is a great way to just relieve stress, and I'm enjoying it.
These aren't your first marathons. You're an avid runner. You've done this before.
Yes, and I do triathlons, which I actually like a little bit better.
See, I didn't even know that. That's
yeah,
incredible.
I've done a half Ironman in Raleigh, North Carolina, which was so fun because there are hills, unlike Miami. So
Well,
yeah.
We wish you lots of luck.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank both you and Anna for joining me, and we'll see you around in Pinecrest. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.